Very warm welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Commodity TV. It's company update time, and I'm really proud and honored. We have today the 9th largest gold producer from the world here, Sibanye Gold out of South Africa, and Neal Froneman, the CEO himself, will give us an update. Neal, welcome.
Thank you. Hello, Jochen.
First time in our studios in Munich.
Yes, very nice.
Fantastic.
To be here.
And yeah, absolutely. Now I'm really happy about it because you have such a top company, great quality. And first of all, for our viewers, as you are the first time here, where are you working? What's the company about?
Well, we're a South African company listed on the JSE and the New York Stock Exchange. We are predominantly positioned in South Africa. Our focus is gold. We've recently entered platinum, and of course we have a large uranium portfolio as well.
Exactly. And as I said, you are the 9th largest gold producer in the world. How much have you produced last year, and what is this year?
We produce about 1.5 million ounces a year, and that comes out of our gold assets in South Africa.
Great. Do you have any other assets than South Africa, or it's pure South Africa?
Our gold is purely South African. Platinum is in South Africa and Zimbabwe, and uranium is South Africa.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, the gold assets, from where do they come from?
They were unbundled out of gold fields in 2013. They're well-known assets: Driefontein, Kloof, Beatrix. Driefontein is a mine that's produced over 100 million ounces since the 50s. Wow. It's still got 20 years of life. So, world-class assets.
Fantastic. If you say 50 years alive, what is your average life of mine so far?
Well, Driefontein is about 20 years. Kloof is about 15. Beatrix is also about 15. Cook is relatively short life by about 5 years. But we got 31 million ounces, and 1.5 million ounces a year is 20 years of life on average.
Yeah, so the 31 million ounces are reserves, right?
Correct.
But that's important. But what do you have in resources?
We have 78 million ounces in resource, so clearly we will convert some of that into reserve as we develop projects, as the gold price changes, and so on.
As you said, you are producing 1.5 million ounces per annum. That means you are, of course, producing the 1.5 million, but are you also replacing the 1.5 million?
Every year we attempt to replace the reserves we've mined. In the last few years, we've grown our reserve base from 13 million ounces to 31. So we've done more than just replace our reserves.
Fantastic. Before we come to South Africa, let's move a bit on the platinum PGM metal side. You recently acquired Aquarius and Rustenburg. Can you elaborate a bit? What have you done there?
Yes, certainly. If you look at what we've achieved in gold, we've turned around assets that weren't performing. We've stabilized them, and of course we think we can take that operating model into other commodities. Platinum is an obvious next step. Of course, you have to have a view of the platinum market. We think it'll remain depressed for a few more years. But certainly if you structure these transactions correctly, and we can achieve the same sort of turnaround we achieved in gold, then of course we have created a lot more value for our shareholders.
Great. Okay, you are consolidating now those assets. Of course, they are in production. So how many ounces do you think you will produce next year? And let's put it that way, will you start to earn money with them? Are they cash flow even, break even, or what's going on?
Look, the combination of Aquarius and Rustenburg Platinum will produce about 1.2, 1.3 million ounces of 4E PGMs a year. I imagine that we'll cut that back a bit because not everything is profitable. Our aim will be to make them cash neutral for the next few years. And then, of course, we have lots of exposure to an increasing PGM price, which we expect to start increasing from about 2018.
Great. And where are you positioned? Let's look on the world platinum producers. You are number 4 or 5 then, right?
4 or 5. When we made the acquisitions, we were number 5. One of the other platinum producers has announced a decrease in their production for next year, and that's probably moved us into number 4.
Okay, great. How is the company financially situated? What's your net debt? What is cash in the bank? How does it look like?
Well, we got R1 billion of cash in the bank. We've got net debt of 4.5 billion rand. That might sound like a lot of debt, but our net debt to EBITDA is only 0.5.
That's very decent, I would say.
Very decent. We've got a strong balance sheet.
Yeah, great, fantastic. Are you paying dividends?
Absolutely. That's why we exist. The investment thesis for Sibanye is that we on industry-leading dividend pay. Our average dividend yield over the last 3.5 years is just over 5%.
Fantastic. In a negative interest world, that's a lot of money, I would call it.
Well, that's a true return for a shareholder.
Absolutely. How do you pay the dividend? Is it a certain amount of net profits? Is it a percentage? How do you calculate that?
Yeah, our dividend policy is 35. It's a minimum, I should say, of 35% of normalized earnings. But that's a minimum. Last year, we paid out 70% of normalized earnings. The interim dividend this year, we paid out 40%. We try and target about R1 billion of dividends every year.
Wow, so you must have happy shareholders.
We have very happy and supportive shareholders, yes.
Great, fantastic. Let's come to the, I would call it wild card, uranium, because I think nobody has this on the radar, and I think actually it's with zero valued by far. Elaborate a bit, what's going on with uranium and from where does it come from?
Well, gold and uranium in South Africa is related. So when you mine a ton of gold-bearing rock, it contains uranium. You can extract it when you put it through the process. Of course, the uranium price needs to be the right price. If you don't extract it, it goes onto the tailings dams. And over the last 20 years, we know that uranium has been depressed, except recently in 2005, 6, 7. So we have 100 million pounds of uranium in reserve.
In reserve?
In reserve, not resource.
We should emphasize that.
On our tailings dams, and clearly at the right uranium price, we'll extract it and obviously extract the gold that is associated with it as well.
I know it's a forward-looking statement, but if we speculate a little bit, where could you imagine uranium price-wise when you say, okay, there we would like to start?
Well, in the commodities business, your marginal cost of production should really be your minimum cost of or price of a resource. And in my view, uranium to create further supply, which is going to be needed, you need about $45-50 a pound as a very minimum. Probably something like 70 will spur new investment, but certainly we don't require that sort of price to make this viable.
Yeah, so for you, like, what could you imagine production cost-wise? I know it's another forward-looking statement, but do we talk like, like current prices, like around $20, or would it more like in the 30s? I know it's not a final statement, but just for our viewers, an idea.
Approximately $20 a pound, because this is byproduct production. We would process the gold, and it's therefore only the treatment costs of uranium, and that's in the low 20s, so approximately $20 a pound.
Fantastic, great. What it sounds like a healthy margin then at 40.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Let's come, final question, to South Africa. I mean, it's a beautiful destination when you want to play golf, when you make game drive, and of course, South Africa was forever one of the most important gold producers and platinum producers in the world, of course. What's the situation today? I mean, politically, social, economic wise, can you maybe give us a bit of an overview? Because I think we have here in the media sometimes a bit of a wrong perception, I would call it.
Absolutely. I think there's a lot of noise that comes out of South Africa, especially from a political and a labor point of view. But South Africa is a great destination for mining still. We have good quality infrastructure. We have a good mining regime. We have a lot of skills. The country's got a history of mining. We've got good financial systems, and more importantly, we've got good legal systems. Businesses addressing the politics because they're unacceptable at the moment, and we've learnt how to deal with organized labor much better than we did in the past. So it's a tough environment, but it's an environment you can see if you look at our results that we've prospered in.
That's right. And I think you were one of the first companies ever, I would say, who made a 3-year wage contract with the trade unions, right?
Well, certainly we've been instrumental in leading the industry to 3-year wage agreements without strikes and without paying or resorting to stupid demands. So yes, we've got a 3-year wage agreement in gold. We got that last year, and more recently we've got 3-year wage agreements in platinum as well.
So that means you are respecting the people, you have a good safety environment, you are respecting the environment, of course, also. So that means that you really can handle the issues may arising, right?
Absolutely. People are our most important asset. We recognize all stakeholders. Our vision is about creating superior value for all stakeholders. obviously shareholders are a very important stakeholder, and they put money at risk, and they need to be looked after as well.
Yeah, perfect. Well, Neal, thank you very much. All the best for you. Merry Christmas already, as we are
Jochen.
close in front of that. And I look forward to get next year an update from you.
Thank you.
Great, thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, it was Neal Froneman, the CEO of Sibanye Gold. Well, you heard it, an exceptional company. Take care about the people, take care about the land you are working in, and of course, take care about all stakeholders. That's their motto, and I think they play it very well because this company is a really large success. They're only 3.5 years now in this construct working, and they're paying a 5% dividend. I think that's what we really like, especially we Germans like that, of course. But also in addition, we talk about 31 million ounces in reserves, 78 million ounces in resources, and 100 million pounds reserves in uranium. That's the wild card. That's the $1 billion joker, I would call it. Check out the company. Thanks for watching us, and Merry Christmas.